Hey guys, welcome back to Man Time. Today's episode we have a new little saw on the channel, and this was another one that I got for 40 bucks off of somebody's trailer that had been sitting out in the weather for quite some time. So doing just a quick look over of it on missing parts. It was missing the pull cord, pull handle. I've got that. I've also realized that it was missing some parts inside of the assembly here. There's a, let's see, the spring was missing. There's a little tray. The spring was missing out of there, so I got a new one here. It looks to be working pretty good. Also missing the chain cover guard, and so I also was planning on it having a bad piston. Now this one's got a, looks like a 42 millimeter piston. It says it's 42. That seems pretty decent. But yeah, we'll get right into this here. Welcome to Man Time. Yeah, I actually had some other plans for this weekend, but I'm missing some parts. The Forester engine that I rebuilt, it all of a sudden like threw an engine light and started running like crap. I was like, son of a gun. I just rebuilt the thing. What the heck did I do wrong, right? Well, turns out I didn't do anything wrong. It's just an old block. And that was one of the things I was worried about when I was rebuilding that car. You've got, this old block. It was at least the third time the engine was out of the car and being worked on, and maybe more. It's 230,000 miles. I wasn't the first person to work on it. Actually, the guy that I got it from was kind of a little bit shady. And matter of fact, the water pump was the wrong one on it. But regardless, the casting, like, as I was putting it back together, like I started getting bolts like starting to strip, and turns out the tensioner pulley, it was only holding on by a couple threads. So with that new belt, new tensioner pulley, the threads just ended up working out. Luckily enough, it's a little plate that bolts in that holds the tensioner, so it's not like I needed a new block or have to helicoil it, or I may helicoil it anyway because it's going to take, I don't know how long. From Subaru, their shipping isn't the best, but anyways, we'll work on this chainsaw here. Hopefully it's just the piston and not the jug. I looked down in there, the jug looks salvageable, and believe it or not, this is actually like therapeutic for me. Some people have whatever vices they may have. Mine just happens to be fixing intricate machines that do work. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. You're welcome to join me. So let's grab a frosty beverage and get after it here. I'm going to start taking some of this stuff apart. That way I can have my therapy of listening to music and taking stuff apart. And I'll just jump back kind of in and out. We'll get in a little bit closer as we get further down into and finding the problems with this thing. So let's do it. Yeah, now this is the first time I'm working on one of these, but right away I'm seeing some really nice things that they've done here. First of all, they're using aircraft grade locking nuts, and it looks like a just piece of threaded stud there. And then out the front here they've got the same thing. They've got studs with an 8mm and yeah, these are really nice and easy to loosen up. Now there's a flathead there. I mean, you're gonna need a flathead when you go to working on these things. Now let's see here if this one is gonna come out. Yep. So I've had this soaking down for like at least well, when I first got it several weeks ago, I basically hosed it down with the best friend here, Blaster. And so these have all been soaking in penetrating oil, for a week. And then, matter of fact, last night before I was thinking about working on it, I sprayed it down again, so makes taking all these off really nice and easy. Now the important thing here is when we open this up and look down at the piston. But you can also learn, oh, look at there. Alright, so the stud came out of one side. Got our muffler there, so the other stud is stuck on there. So then, let's see if we can pry off our gasket here without breaking it. These gaskets are kind of hard to find, and it's not like you can buy a sheet of gasket material for them, so try not to destroy them if we can avoid it. There we go. Got just enough of it there with the razor blade to let it break loose. Alright, good. Not destroyed. And for future reference, it kind of curves back toward the jug there. Alright, so now we can get in there, rotate the flywheel, and just kind of see what we're working with here. Holy smokes. I don't know how that's looking to you, but that's looking pretty darn good. I mean, wow. Wowza. I mean, that looks shiny and new to me. That looks shiny and new to you? Holy smokes, there may not be too much wrong with this little saw. And I was thinking I may want to port this one too. But, see, I'm missing my mid-range saw now, right? I've got the 200T clone saw. I've got big saws with that wolf and hammers. Now I'm just really missing that saw that I can take through the woods for like an all-day kind of project that's going to be working with like 4, 5, 6, 8, maybe up to 8-inch trees. I've got the 350. It seems like it's got a bottom end issue. The 031 definitely has a bottom end issue. I mean, and hell, this might too. I'm going to be getting back into the 31 because I really miss that as kind of my primary to replace those bottom end seals, and probably, let's see, I don't think I got a bearing kit for that one, but I need to get in the lower end of that one anyway. It's 50 years old, so. This one, I don't know the age of it. It's got the tag on here, basically saying it's a, Electrolux motor AB 44 is really all I can make out. There's 1081, so maybe it's an 81. I'm not sure how to date these things, but we're going to just take off, basically as much of this stuff as we can here, and try to get it all the way down, get the jug off of there. Of course, we can make a new gasket using our rubberized gasket material for the jug, and we'll do that. But yeah, I don't know. This is just fun for me. If it's fun for you, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, or maybe subscribe to my channel. This isn't all that happens on this channel, but this is actually a lot of fun for me, anyway. Let's see here. So this choke is latched in here, and I definitely don't want to break that. So let's see if we can get this out of there. Let's zoom in and look at this, huh? Alright, so this is what's fun about this, right? Like, each one of these is going to have its different little issues and quirks and different things that are going on with it. The choke is latched into here, so it's only able to come out so far, and then it's kind of got an S-curve in it there, but you can actually bring it out like that, and then it looks like you could twist it around to maybe come out of there. Oh, it's close. Okay, I've got to come. Let's see here. See how it's latched in there? It looks like I can almost come out of there like that. Let's try the other way. Maybe I can rotate it around this way. There we go. Not bent, not broken. Very nice. And then it's got what looks like a vent line coming up through here. It's got some kind of questionable wiring decisions going on here. Probably going to replace that, but I think we're at the point now where we can probably just blow everything off and kind of reset a little bit. I just remembered one thing I wanted to do on this saw before I got too far into it was check for spark. And, you know, since it had a missing pull chain and parts missing inside of here, I couldn't do that. But now we can, so it's going to be maybe a little difficult to see. And I don't know if you can see that there, but it is actually sparking. So, yeah, that's one thing. And, you know, I get it. If you're a landowner and you've only got your one saw, you know, you probably don't want to be ripping into it if it's running good and you don't have to do anything to it. But the off chance that it does go down, I mean, this is what you're checking for. You're checking for spark. You want to take out your plug, put it in the on position, pull the cord, make sure you're seeing spark right here at the electrode if you couldn't see it there. Making sure, I mean, you've got gas flowing into the carburetor. Oh, these birds are just loving me today. It is springtime. But I mean, for the fuel line here, right? You can see it right here. If you're kind of wondering how to troubleshoot that or you know, whatever, all you have to do is take it down off of there with a settle needle nose, hook a straw or something up to it, where then you can blow down through it, and if you can blow through it, then you know that it's able to suck fuel. Just some basic stuff like that, right? Take your exhaust off. That isn't too hard, right? You've just got your couple of bolts there, and then pull it over and look at your piston. And if your piston's all nice and super shiny like that, you shouldn't have too much to worry about. And you know, you can see your ring kind of moving around. Like on this one here, I mean, it's just in super good shape, it looks like. I can't see any real kind of deficiencies with what's going on in there. The ring looks free and everything else. So that right there is going to tell you you've got gas coming into your carb. You've got probably, you know, and you can tell by pulling on it too, good compression, and you've got spark. So at that point, you can kind of start narrowing it down to it's either going to be most likely your carburetor, because the carburetors on these, again, I've got several videos on carburetors for all kinds of small engines. That little metering valve has, you know, been my biggest problem with all kinds of, it just bends over time, and then all of a sudden you aren't getting any fuel. So, or it could be the vacuum coming into the carb from the lower end, and that's a bigger problem. And, you know, at that point, a lot of people just say, well, time for a new saw. But oftentimes when it's a lower end problem, you'll see the scoring inside of there too, because it's running super lean, and you've got to cut the tree down or cut up the log for your firewood, and you know, there she goes. But anywho, all right, so I'm gonna get this stuff disassembled up here and get this back off of there. Get this plate off of there. I'm going to replace this wiring, but we'll come back when we go to pull the jug off. How about that? Alright, we got the carburetor off of there. We just had to kind of bend this over and pull the linkage off, get this fuel line off. And the first thing I'm seeing when I'm looking at this fuel line is right there on the end of it. It is like just super gummed up with stuff. So then on the carb, you've got kind of the same thing going on here right at the inlet. And I mean, one of the tools that I always keep with me is this green Scotch-Brite, and you're able to just, you know, for stuff like this especially, but this is right away telling me there was like varnish-y stuff kind of in the gas or in the saw. And they must have started using like different fuel line, because this yellowish, greenish fuel line that you get nowadays, it's not going to last. I don't know how old this saw is, you know, maybe 40 years old or whatever. But look at this, Walbro. I don't know if you can see on the fuel filter here, but right on there it says Walbro. So Walbro used to make their own, you know, filters for the carbs and stuff. If I could rebuild this with like a new filter material, I probably would, just because that's cool as crap. I'm definitely keeping that one around. Some other things you can kind of look for on a carb here, like right here is where your vent line is going to be. See, it's got a little hole down here where it's pulling pressure from the lower end into the carb to bring the gas in. But so far, all I see is this carburetor kind of being the main culprit. But this is a Walbro. Look at that. They used to kind of have just a standard lettering on there. This one looks like it's 2L146 maybe. Oh, there it is. No, it's an HDC 32A. Now, I probably don't have a kit for that, so I'll definitely be going and looking for one of those. But I mean, everything is just super gummed up. So we're going to be spraying all this down, cleaning it out, and starting with this carburetor, because it looks like the main issue. I don't see really anything else that's too wrong with it, other than that fuel line so far. So I got to see if I've got a kit for this one. HDC. So it's going to be an I got to figure out what kind of carb kit I need now. Alright, well, I just went online there to Acres Internet, and I don't know if you guys have heard of this website or not, but I've got this permanently saved on my phone as like a website that I go to. Acres Internet, they've got like every type of chainsaw, and I guess it's just a bunch of guys that have kind of collaborated to mark down all the stuff. But right here, you can see they've got two different carburetors that would have come on this. You got the HDA 24, 35B, Walbro HDC 32A, that's what one mine has. So it's got four different carb kits here. You got the K20, K10, HDA, HDC, or the D10 HDA or D10 HDC. So I'm assuming mine is going to be, let's see, it's the HDC 32A, so I'm assuming it's the K10 HDC. And that's like the only one I didn't have. I've got some different ones, but I didn't have that one. But really cool that, you know, this shows that, yeah, it's got, well, wait, it says it's got a 42 millimeter piston bore. Oh no. Did I order the wrong? Oh no, 42, okay. It just seems really big to me, that, because I'm fairly sure that the 350 has a 38 millimeter piston and the 031 has a 38 millimeter piston. This just seems like a huge piston to me for this size of saw. 44cc. Maybe they had 44 millimeter. I don't know. Anyways, let's take this jug off of here. I'm waiting on. So long and short of the story is there, I am waiting on the carb kit. So this is going to have to be finished up next week, but man, this tool is so nice. I mean, to just be able to get down in here, break. I mean, I feel more comfortable using this DeWalt tool than I do a regular Allen wrench. I'm just able to put a little bit more force on it, and you know, anyways. So I've got to remember some things here, like these wires that I'm going to cut, which it doesn't matter where these go, really. One's going to go to your coil, the other one's going to go to a ground. I guess the ground for this one is up by the coil, so big whoop. We'll change those out when we get there. Okay, here we go. Oh, man alive. I got lucky. That's exhaust. And I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing there. That is all clean. Big, nice, wide open ports. Whoops. Here's our intake side. I mean, gorgeous. Gorgeous. Okay, well, what else could be a possible issue? I don't know yet. But, yeah, nice loose ring. Well, not exactly loose. It's got a little bit of play on it there, but not bad. Any play in the no up and down play on the crank. I think the crank is going to be good. Man, this saw is going to be easy to work on. And look at there, it's already got the rim sprocket for, oh man. Okay, so we're going to get the piston off. We're going to get this all blown out in there and cleaned up. Man, this is going to be a good running saw as soon as I get that carb kit. Alright, so we got everything cleaned up, blown off now. And you may be asking yourself, well, how do you keep all the stuff from, you know, getting down in there like that? Well, you can't, really. You have to just start investing in brake clean right now. Get it by the case or whatever. I've heard some people saying that it starts to remove the paint. I haven't had that issue, but it's going to completely alleviate anything and everything that came off of here and went down into there, and you just hose it out like a dang fire hose down in there. You're going to do the same thing with your piston here. Now look at this. This is a male jug on here. So this is still OEM equipment, and it's in immaculate shape. I don't know. $40, folks. They're out there. If you're serious and you're looking for parts and equipment, you know, again, Marketplace, Craigslist. There's people out there selling stuff like this that's been sitting in the back of their truck for the last, who knows, 10 years? I don't know. But for some reason, it quit running. My guess is the carb, something in the carb quit running. But whoever owned it, in my case, a farmer out in the middle of nowhere, he had about 30 of these things sitting in the back of his truck and on a trailer. And he would take them to trade days, but I mean, people would just pass over them because they look like a junky piece of junk that's been sitting in the back of somebody's truck and trailer for the last 10 years, right? People like you and me are smarter than that. We can see value in things like this. So, anywho, I'm going to get that car. I'm going to take this piston off. I mean, I'm just going to clean the top of it off here. The ring is like immaculate. It's still like, you know, look at how far out it is. It's not squished in at all. It doesn't look like. I mean, there's plenty of meat there. Jeez. Yeah, I got lucky again here. That's all I can really say. Okay, well, let's see. I'm going to clean up a few more things here and maybe put the timing wheel on it, huh? Should we try that maybe? Yeah, let's try that. Well, this is a good lesson to learn the easy way, right? As I was taking the ring off of there to, you know, get it set up to go back in the piston to go back in the jug to do my timing numbers and stuff like that, the ring broke. And all I did, I pried it out, and as soon as I went to, like, push it back, it just snapped. But this is actually a good thing that happened to me here, believe it or not. Because this ring being that brittle, it wouldn't have lasted very long. So, and a good note for the future me, when I end up putting a cylinder back together and using the old ring, always replace your ring. Matter of fact, that 365 that I did when a man buys a new chainsaw video, I use that stock ring. Not smart. Not smart. So, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to use this ring out of my new piston kit here, and I'm going to go back into that 365 before I even run it or do anything to it. Get a new ring and put that new ring on there. And I might port it while I'm in there. 48mm stock Husqvarna, cylinder. So, anywho, I guess well, I'm going to shut her down for this evening. Maybe this would be a good part 1 for this video, the disassembly and kind of intro to the Husqvarna 44. Yeah, so all stock stuff. I'm going to stay with the stock piston. I'm going to have to order some new rings and a piston kit. So this one's going to go on the ice for, a week or so until I get new parts and jump back into it. In the meantime, I might have another chainsaw video coming up here with a different chainsaw. I don't know. Or I might be back out in the woods. You'll just have to subscribe to find out. All right, it's going to do it for today on Man Time, guys. Get out there. Have you some man time, too.